Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Core Java tutorials. Today we will see methods in Java. So the definition of a method is a collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. So methods are similar to the functions that we see in C programming, and in some other languages they are also called as procedures, but in Java they are called as methods. Block of codes that are executed again and again. So the purpose of methods is code reusability, and the methods are executed only if we call them. So we already have seen certain predefined methods in Java. So one such example is your println. Okay, println is a method which will print something on the console, whatever is given in between this double quotes. Okay, so this is a predefined method we already have seen, and we also know one method which is main method, but main method has got some predefined prototype signature in the JVM, so there is a strict restriction on the prototype. Other than that, whatever code that you want to write inside the main method is user defined, so you can decide on what you have to write. But the signature, okay, so the main method signature is predefined in JVM. So these are some of the methods that we already know. And so in this video we'll see the general form or the syntax of methods, types of methods, and how to access these types of methods in different areas like the instance area and the static area, and we'll see how to create methods and some sample programs. So if you just look into the class elements, okay, so what are the elements inside a class? Okay, so the class has got different elements. The first element is the variables, and in my previous videos I already have discussed about various different types of variables. Okay, so the first element of the class is that, and the second element of the class is the methods, and the third element is the constructor. Okay, and the fourth element is the instance initialization block. And finally the fifth element is the static block. Okay, so these are the elements that are there inside the class, and Java gave lot of power and flexibility to the methods. Among all these, the most powerful element in the class is the methods. So what do we write inside the methods? Okay, so inside the method we will be writing the business logic. Okay, so the logic is given inside the methods, and the methods are some group of statements or the block of statements or piece of code that need to be executed again and again. Okay, so if you want to execute the piece of code again and again, you will be putting it inside a method. Okay, and also the method will act upon, so the methods will act upon the variables that we declare inside the class. So the methods act upon the variables, they take in the variables and they act upon them. And if you want some lines of code or some statements to execute again and again, you will put it in a method. And the business logic, okay, for what you are writing this class, the business logics are put inside a method. Okay, so there can be many methods inside a class. Okay, so you will be writing a method in a way that you can handle it. You will not write only one method which is very lengthy. Rather than that, you will be splitting up into smaller chunks, and you can have n number of methods inside the class. Okay, so this is the purpose of the method, and the method will only execute when we call them. So the method will execute only if we call it. Okay, so other than that it will not execute on its own. We have to call the method upon certain parameters, and it will work for the parameters that we are passing, and you can call it n number of times. Okay, so many times you can call it. Okay, so n number of times. The methods, there can be many methods inside a class, and a method will execute only if we call it, and you can call the method n number of times. Okay, right. Now we'll see the general form. Like any other things inside the class, even the method will be having a method name. So this is the first thing that we need to keep in mind. Okay, so there will be a method name, and the method will be having certain parameters list. This is optional. Okay, so if you want to pass, you will pass, else there can be no parameters also. Okay, and then there will be an open bracket, and then there will be a closing bracket. In between this open bracket and close bracket, you will be writing the method implementation. Okay, so whatever is your logic, you will be writing inside this. So this is for the method implementation. You also will call it as the body of the method. Okay, so this part is called as the body of the method. Okay, so whatever is your logic, you will be putting all those statements inside this open bracket and close bracket. And the method will be having a return type. It's not like C programming. In C programming, the return type of a method is integer. But here you need to specify what is the return type of the method, else it will be an compilation error. So return type of the method has to be mentioned in Java especially. Okay, so then here I'll be mentioning the return type. So the return type of the method. Okay, so and also we need to have one more thing, which is the access modifier of this particular method. We need to talk about how to access this method. So there are different access modifiers. So those modifiers need to be here. So I am saying modifiers list. Okay, so whatever are the modifiers list, I will be mentioning over here. Okay, so so this is the general form of a method. Mostly you will be seeing a method of this form. But there is one more addition to this general form of a method, which is like, for example, if the method is throwing an exception which the method will not handle. Okay, so in some cases the method will be capable of throwing some exception which is not handled. Okay, and it need to, the method declaration need to clearly mention that it is like a caution to the caller. Whoever is calling this particular method, you will be cautioning the person, the caller, that this method will throw certain exception. Be careful with it and have your own remedies on how to handle those exceptions. And that need to be added with the method declaration. So I have to use a clause which is called as throws clause. So I'll be saying the method throws some list of exception. Okay. So this is a list of exceptions and I can have them separated by commas. I can say throws arithmetic exception, comma. Okay. And then the list of exceptions, whatever I am listing, I can have them after this throws. So this is the general form or the syntax of the method. Okay, so this is called as that, and there are three parts inside a method, if you can see. So this entire first line is called as method declaration. So this is called as method declaration, and this part is called as method implementation. And you can only access this method from a method call. So the method call, for example, so to access this method, I need to make a call to this particular method. The call to this particular method is another part. Okay, so this is called as calling the method. So, and also from here, okay, so the method name and parameters list. Okay, so this part is called as method signature. Okay, so this part is called method signature. So we are just trying to bisect and see what are the various parts inside the method. Okay, so this part is called as the method name and parameters list is called as the signature. This entire line is called as declaration. This part is called as implementation, and you will be making a call to this method to execute, then that is called as calling the method. Okay, right. We'll see an example. Okay, so let us see the box class. Inside the box class, there are three variables: width, height and depth, and there is a constructor. So there is a constructor which is initializing the variables width, height and depth, and this is the method that we have written. Okay, so this method is having no arguments. Okay, so no arguments because we didn't mention any parameter list. And this is the name of the method. So the name of the method is volume, and there are no arguments. We are not passing anything. And this is the return type of the method. Okay, so the return type of the method has to be mentioned in Java. And since this method is not returning anything to the caller, we are making it as void. If it is returning integer, we'll make it integer. If it is returning double, we'll say double. And this return type can be any of the primitive data types, and also it can be of string, it can be of the class type also. Okay, and coming over here, the access modifier, because there is nothing over here, it means that it is default access modifier. Default access modifier means that this method is available to all other classes inside the same package. So whatever classes anybody can access. Okay, so any other class inside the same package can access this particular volume method. Okay, inside this volume method, okay, so we are having one statement which is width into height into depth. It's calculating the volume of the box. Okay, so I hope everybody understood. So from this open bracket till here, we have written the logic inside the body of the method. And this is the name of the method, this is the return type of the method, and the access modifier is default over here because we didn't mention anything. Okay, we can also mention other types. We can also say it like it is public. If I say public, any class from outside, anything can access it irrespective of the packages. If I'm making it private, okay, only this method is accessible in the same class that it is declared. No other classes, even the subclasses, cannot access this particular method. This is accessible only within the box class. Okay, and if I'm making it protected, okay, so if I'm making it protected, then this method can be inherited by the subclasses. Even if it is in the other package, it can be accessed. Okay, so these are the access modifiers. If we are not mentioning anything, then it is the default access modifier. Okay, now from within the static method, okay, main method, we are accessing. This is an instance method, so we need to create an object. So we created an object, and through the object we are calling this. This is called as method call. Okay, so we are calling the method. So the method is called from the main method. So who is the caller over here? The caller method is the main method, and the called method is the volume method. Okay, so here that's how we are calling. Since it is not returning anything, because the return type of volume is void, we are not catching any return type. Okay, simply you can say b1.volume. It will, now the control will go to this particular volume method and it will execute it. Okay, so 2 into 4, okay, so which is 8, 8 3s are 24. So the output 24.0 will be printed on the screen for you. Now I told you what is the purpose of the method. The purpose of the method is the same piece of code I can call n number of times. Rather than writing it again and again, I can call it n number of times. In the same way, I can create another object saying box B2 is equal to new box. Now I can actually have different values. I can say 1, 2 and 3, and now I can say B2.volume. Now this volume method will be called for the instance variables width, height and depth with values 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so the same piece of code is called many times. Okay, now we'll add the return type to the volume method. So the return type will be double. So this is returning double type. So I'm making it double. Okay, so since it is returning something, I need to have the return statement inside volume. So there should be a statement. Okay, so return statement and return width into. Okay, so we are saying return width into height into depth. Okay, and a semicolon at the end, and I'm putting a closing bracket. Now the return type is added, and this volume method will return width into height into depth, and the result of this expression is a double type. So we have mentioned that the return type of this volume is double. Now we also have to change the call over here. When the control comes back from the called function to the caller, what happens is it is bringing something. It is bringing double to the main method. So you need to catch it. So I am saying a double, because the return type is double, I am saying a double v is equal to b1 dot volume. Okay, and now I'll use system dot out dot println. Okay, out dot println, and I will say the volume of the box is, okay, or simply I'll say v, print v on the screen. Okay, so this is how the return types have to be handled. In case if the return type is integer, then I have to say integer v. Take a look at this particular program wherein I am having a method which is set dimensions, okay, and which is a parameterized method. Okay, so we already have seen how to create a method with no args and no return type. Then we have added the return type, and now we are adding parameter list inside the method. Okay, so the name of the method is set dimension, and so this is just setting the dimensions values of width, height and depth. Okay, so now so we'll see how to call it. So rather than initializing it through a constructor, we are having a method which is set dimension, and by this set dimension method we are making a call, so by passing the parameters over here. So this volume is not having parameters, so we are not giving any arguments inside this parenthesis, but here this set dimension is having parameters list. So that's the reason why we have to mention them. How many parameters you have mentioned there, that many parameters you have to pass. We have mentioned 3 parameters there, you have to pass 3 arguments over here. Okay, so and the same type of arguments need to be passed. There it is double, so you have to pass double type into it. Okay, so since it's an instance method, we are accessing it through an object. So I said b1 dot set dimension. So width, height and depth are set to 2, 3 and 4. Then I'm calling volume. So this volume will be executed, and width into height into depth is calculated, and then the answer 24.0 will be printed on the screen for us, the volume. And again I'm calling the set dimension method on the same object, and I'm setting width, height and depth to 10, 20 and 30. So now the volume will be printed. So it will be some 6000, okay, 0.0. So the answer will be this. So you can call this set dimension method n number of times. Even volume can be called many times. How many ever times you want, you can call them. But make sure that the return type is compatible with the return type that you mention in the main method, and the arguments list and the parameters list are compatible, and the same number of arguments are there in both the during the calling and also inside the method declaration. Okay, so this is how you create a method with parameters list. So there are 2 types of methods. One is the instance methods and the other is the static methods. We also have seen the other kinds of methods like user defined methods and predefined methods. In the starting of the video, I have told you that the predefined methods examples are your println and all that is an example, printf, all these are examples of predefined methods. To use those methods, you have to import the classes inside your program, and the user defined methods are the methods that you write inside your class. Okay, right. And among them there are 2 types. One is the instance methods and the other is the static methods. If a method is if the method declaration is prefixed with a static keyword, it is called as a static method. Instance methods are also called as non-static methods. So methods without a static keyword are called as instance methods. Okay, so other than that there is no much difference, but accessing difference is there. I'll discuss that. Okay, permission details, I'll discuss that. Okay, so for example, the instance method which I which we have seen in the previous example, like volume. Okay, so void volume is an instance method. Okay, if I just put a static keyword in front of it, like for example I said static okay, double volume. Okay, so now this has become a static method. Okay, so this is an instance method because there is no static keyword prefixed before the method declaration. Because this method is having a static keyword before, then this is called as a static method. Okay, so we'll see the permissions of how to access the instance variables and instance methods in an instance method and static methods, and also vice versa. Okay, so the instance variables and methods. Okay, can you access instance variables and methods? How to access them in the instance methods? Okay, so they can be directly accessed. Okay, so you can directly call the instance variables and instance methods from into an instance method. Okay, right. Okay, how can you access instance variables and instance methods in an static method? Okay, so to access them you have to create. Okay, so they can be accessed only through an object reference. Okay, object reference, they can be accessed only through an object reference. To access an instance variable you need an object reference. To access an instance method you need an object reference. Now coming to this part, okay, so the static variables and the static methods. Static variables and static methods. How can you access them from an instance method? Okay, so they can be accessed by the class name dot the name of the variable, or the class name dot the method. Okay, if they are in the same class, then they can be directly accessed, like call by variable and call by method. Okay, so they can be directly accessed. Okay, and how can you access static variables and methods into a static method? Again the same thing. Okay, so class name dot the variable name. Okay, class name dot the method. If they are inside the same class, then you can directly call the variables. Okay, so this table you need to keep in mind.